Path of Night, War of Ages is an actual play of Vampire the Masquerade Dark Ages podcast set in the world of darkness. We're all friends, we're here to have fun, but our story can include graphic violence, drug use, sexual content, and other mature themes. We've talked at our table about safety, comfort, and consent both as players and storytellers. We know what to expect. We're all excited to be here, and we want you to feel the same. So listener discretion is advised. And so continues the War of Ages.
To my progeny and fellow son of blessed Zilla, it is my will that you attend me at the market square adjoining the stocks within the castle district of Budapest, on the 10th hour of the evening, on the 15th night of April, in the year of our Lord, 1198. There you shall be made known to an esteemed ally whose intentions are aligned with ours. This individual has voiced a desire to act as your patron in Transylvania. Accept what is offered. Your position within the region may be assured, and your value to our cause affirmed. The nights ahead herald the culmination of intricate designs long set in motion. The aspirations of the lost tribe near fruition, and my duty to Zilla shall carry me beyond the bounds of this region, to the coast of Sicily, and there, Castel d'Ombro, and its master. In that absence, a hidden hand must remain behind. You shall serve as that hand. Unbeknownst to many, the Banu Hakim maintain their presence here, discreet but enduring. They are not strangers to Cainite society in these lands, and have dwelt hidden among the courts for generations. You shall seek them out. Speak carefully, learn what truths may be gathered, earn what trust may be won. Do not mistake this for a mere errand. The architecture of power demands subtle masons. Become indispensable to their cause, but remain ever loyal to ours. The bearer of this missive is a thrall of proven loyalty. He shall see to your escort. Appius Claudius Corvus, Hand of Dostur Anash.
It is early spring, 1198, just past the 7th hour of the night. Budapest itself is coming alive again after the quiet of winter. Daring traders arrive from the east and west, having braved late winter storms and treacherous crossings through newly cleared mountain passes. After a tiring and uncomfortable journey, the characters arrive outside the main gate of Pest. Clouds cover the sky, and the ground underfoot is soggy with chilly rain. The walls of Pest rise before the characters. The smells of livestock, lime, and smoke hang in the air. The town guards are beginning to close the gates for the night. One guard motions with his lantern and says, "If you ascend to the city tonight, you had best hurry. The gates are closing."
Zorion de Iruña looks at the guard, tilts his chin up, and locks eyes with him to give him a command. Not using any powers, just his noble bearing. "You will keep the gates open, so that my companions and my entourage can move through. We will be quick, but you will not close them until all are through."
The guard visibly takes a step back, at first angry with the defiance shown to him, but then nervous. What does he see?
Zorion is a man who appears in either his late 20s or early 30s, of average height and build, but of a noble bearing. It is not clear as to what his ethnicity is, but he certainly has golden brown skin that you would expect for someone living around the Mediterranean. He has dark, luxurious hair swept back, tucked past his ears, and a sharp mustache sitting above a full pair of lips. His eyes are golden brown and have the quality of a cat staring at prey wherever he looks. He wears a richly adorned brocade caftan, a style that seems all the rage amongst warriors and nobles that have been spending time in the Holy Lands. A mixture of European, Arabic, Persian, Turk styles, creating this very quintessential look for many of the crusaders and nobles spending time there. His sleeves are wide, and while his left hand can be seen and the rings adorning it, marking him out as probably having some noble connection, his right hand is always in shadow, and if anyone was able to actually look at it, it is purely black ink, featureless shadow itself. The hem of his caftan is wide and low, obscuring his feet. Sometimes watching him walk, he almost looks like he simply floats. And Zorion will occasionally catch himself and return to mimicking the gait of a normal person. He wears a sword at his hip and is followed by a considerable train of attendants. Not only does he have a wagon that he rides in, but he also appears to be bringing with him quite a bit.
On the back of one of the horses sits a young-looking girl. Big, blue, heart-of-flame blue eyes. Hair, intense, vividly red, long, hits well at her waist. Braided, curled, tangled, if we're being honest. Some parts of it cut where it's been so tangled she just didn't want to take the time. She seems almost too young, too innocent. But she's clearly a woman, has a woman's features. But it's hard to believe that something so sweet could be traveling with something so dark, so powerful as the man who spoke to the guard. She carries with her a couple musical instruments, namely a bowron in her lap, a drum from her homeland, which she's been tapping away on nervously as she waits. On the horse, there's a staff of sorts, two twisted branches that have grown together and sanded down over years of use. Her clothing isn't nearly as ornate, nearly as fancy, but it suits her. It makes her natural beauty the thing that people look at. Simple natural fibers, a simple dress, simple leggings of leather, simple boots, a thick wool cape, undyed, the parts that have dragged on the ground, worn and muddied and probably never going to wash clean, and closed with a knotted clasp at her throat. Where her hands peek out, it's clear that the girl has known hardship, as there are rope scars, burns, on her arms and her wrists. And she looks behind her to ensure that her other companion is still behind.
Riding a massive black destrier, Roland de Ronceveaux sits looking around at the castle walls and seeing the massive entourage that he and Sadhbh had joined along the road some days ago. Their own wagon train of retainers, much smaller and less grand in comparison. Roland is a tall, muscled man of obviously French descent, an aquiline nose, and dirty blonde, wavy hair that comes down almost to his shoulders, a extremely well-trimmed beard along his handsome face. He's not armed or armored, as is the appropriate etiquette. His arms and armor are packed away, his sword tied in a bundle on the back of the almost monstrous-looking horse. He wears fashionable hose, long tunic, and what has newly come into fashion, at least in the courts of Paris, a doublet and long surcoat. He carries himself tall in the saddle, as if he is more comfortable riding than walking. When Sadhbh looks back over her shoulder at him, he gives sort of a reassuring nod, and then turns to look down at the guard that their recently met companion Zorion had spoken to. If you would be so kind, the market square, where is it to be found?
The cowed mortal gives a nod of assent to the commands issued to him, and turns to the other two guards who are watching the gate and preparing to close it. Go ahead and let them through. Allow them the moment. And he turns to Roland, and probably sounding a tad more meek than he intended. You'll simply head forward through the cattle market, and there you'll find everything you're looking for.
Excellent. You have my thanks. And then he turns away from the guard as if sort of dismissing him from view and hitches the massive warhorse forward. The only thing on him right now other than a dagger that says, I am capable of war, to ride a little closer to Sadhbh to make sure she makes it through the gate.
The men part for Zorion and his train of followers, and the group of you move through, unabated, as the sound of horse hooves meet cobblestone through this gray, cold, wet area. You find yourselves passing into the cattle market, where there are goats and all manner of livestock that awaits whatever destiny the future holds for them. The animals grow nervous as Cainites pass by. And as you sort of march up that hill, the three of you will notice a pair of Cainites whose eyes glint in the dark, waiting at the top of a hill, watching for your arrival.
One of the figures is adorned in a deep red cloak that she has swept around herself. The things that she wears, the kaftan, trousers, they're luxurious but natural. She dresses primarily in red, black, gold, colors that glint in the night. When you see her eyes glint, that almost seems like a trick of the light, of the stars, of the fire, of maybe what she's wearing, that they seem oddly blood-like. What is clear as you approach her is her otherworldly beauty. Her face does not call to one region, but two. You see aspects of her that remind you of the nearby Carpathian Mountains. But more so, you see aspects of her that call to the steppes out east. Her hair is thick, black, a slight wave to it. Currently, it's contained by a veil. Her lips are full and almost exactly like her eyes. They have a ruddied luster shining in the light. and as you approach, she gives a slight smile, showing just a little bit of her teeth. And in that you can see the sharpness of her fangs, more pronounced than you would expect, even in a vampire, as if they were always irretractable.
Completely overshadowed by the ethereal beauty next to him is a more plain-looking man. Wide, expressive face, a prominent nose, curly, wavy-ish hair that is tied back at the nape of his neck. He's wearing a belted tunic that comes just above his knees in a faded green. It's definitely not anywhere near new. A big old draped cloth over his shoulders and stuff like that to ward off the chill. His thumbs are hooked into his belt, where a few pouches and a dagger holdout, and he has a pair of sandals. Completing the standard boring look is brown eyes and brown hair. He looks Mediterranean, which is harder to figure out exactly where in the region he's from, but from throughout the region, a very bronze skin. Well, this looks like it's going to be quite interesting now.
Welcome to Budapest. Is it you that will be joining us in the market square this evening?
As they approach up the hill, Roland looks over at his reasonably new compatriot Zorion. Well, this answers some of the questions I was going to have. I suppose we are. I was expecting to meet someone else. Kind of looks over at Orion to see if that was, like, his reaction, too.
Zorion seems absolutely mesmerized by the ethereal beauty of the woman that they have encountered on the way to the square, and blinks a few times and looks over to Roland. Well, indeed. I think there were others that were also meeting our patron-to-be. Forgive me, my name is Zorion de Iruña. May I have the pleasure of your acquaintances?
You may. I am Catrinel of the Basarab and the Kipchak, Koldun of the Semitsi.
You can call me Alexios.
Well met to the two of you.
Well met.
My companions here are of only a few days. We met on the road coming east.
Roland bows, and it's actually an extremely graceful, practiced in the halls of the courts of love in Paris bow to both of you, mostly directed at Catrinel. Pleasure to meet you both. I am Roland de Ronceveaux.
Saif of the Toreador, and she gives a awkward bow because she's on a horse, and she kind of looks to Roland like, why do we have to stop and do this? But kind of plays along with it for the moment.
He gives her that reassuring, like, half smirk smile that she's seen like 100 times before. The niceties are important too.
And she'll settle back into the saddle a bit.
If you wish to know how the two of them ride horses so easily, it confounds me as well, and he has yet to explain this gift.
Violentieux is not an ordinary horse.
This horse hates me.
There's like a huge, like, glowing, palpable sense of pride that comes off of Roland when he talks about his horse.
Alexios will return the bows to you, generally gracefully and stuff like that, and showing more deference than you guys did.
Catrinel is proud but polite in her response. It is almost a practiced smile, not in the way of insincerity, but like she knows in this context she has to smile in a particular way so that the tips of her fangs are not too much apparent. And as the horse is indicated, she does look over with interest. A tilt of the head. There's a few questions running through her mind. I regret to say that I do not share some of the gifts of my clan at large. Gifts that I believe Alexios would be more inclined towards. Is the strangeness of your horse. What is it?
Roland will actually dismount, leaving Saeed there to, like, ride comfortably and just hold the reins to walk sort of politely alongside the others as they start marching up. He's, bred with purpose. A special line not seen amongst his kind in... But I am very fortunate, I should say this, yes? He, pats the horse's flank. Gifted and born Diomedian, yes?
It sounds that your horse and I might have something in common.
Is this so? And he, raises an eyebrow and just starts walking sort of confidently, looking at both Catrinel and Alexios, taking for granted that you guys know where you're going.
And Catrinel seems to. She is walking like this is an area that she has gained familiarity with. At least she's walking with confidence. If you are not familiar with the name Basara, well, it's a lineage among the Tzimisce, revenants.
Ah.
It's been some time since I was that, but it's remembered.
Lex, in my occult studies, have I come across any information about the Basrat or Tzimisce lines of revenants?
Roll me an intelligence plus occult roll at difficulty 7.
2 successes.
With 2 successes, you are aware that the Tzimisce clan maintains family lines that are imbued with Cainite power, and they develop disciplines. They can even develop unusual aspects to themselves very similar to that of a clan weakness. And the Basarab Revenant line is actually tied directly to the Basarab family. So they are nobles by blood and are imbued with carefully cultivated lines of Tzimisce blood. She is very much a mortal noble who has been embraced very specifically and carefully to be a Cainite noble as well.
I am aware of the Basrab family. You have many admirers all across the lands.
We have our luck.
I have always imagined that the way in which the Tzimisce have cultivated your lines must have made your accounting very short. Did you have an accounting at all?
My sire, who I believe you'll be meeting soon, was in need of a Kuldoon. It was not as planned as perhaps you might think. But when she selected me, and when I was embraced, I spent quite a while learning the arts, dedicating myself, learning more about this world around us and the intricacies of how it works.
As the conversation goes on, Saeed just kind of absently starts tapping out a walking cadence on her Boron. Not to dominate the conversation, just to give background to the conversation. Just a nice, easy, not quite a jig rhythm to keep energy up as they head out.
She might notice out of the corner of her eye that Zorion had once again begun just seemingly gliding along with the group, and once you start tapping out a walking rhythm, he returns to actually stepping along with the group.
Hearing that patter start to dictate the rhythm of the group, Catrinel seems to enjoy the ceremony of that. Even the best laid plans have their interruptions. I think that perhaps I joined this world earlier than I might have otherwise. And yourselves. And she casts that out to the group at large.
A question I was actually going to pose to other new companion as well, and he pulls his eyes away from Catrinel and looks over to Alexios. You, friend Alexios. Shall we, as we walk, regale each other of our tales of accounting? I invite you. And he just sort of puts a hand out come on man, join the conversation.
Alexios had just blended in kind of with everybody else. As soon as they started walking, he was just kind of part of the group. My accounting was full of joy and much celebration.
Joy and celebrate. Well,
yes, so...
one amongst our number was lucky.
She embraced me, laid out all the rules, told me I had passed my accounting and left.
On how quickly a timeline was this?
How long does it take for a bull to shit on the ground?
Depends on the bull. Somewhere between 4 and 6 hours.
I'm sorry, what? It takes a second for the etiquette to, kick back in.
That actually even gets Saif to look a little bit engaged. It doesn't interrupt the playing of the drum, but she does look over.
As Catrinel looks over, she tilts her head in almost a little bit of the same way that a beast might, that kind of curiosity. And her grin sharpens. The combination of that motion, the hood falls back just an inch or so, and the grin a bit wider. And you can see the fangs more to that extent as she is smiling and curious, clearly. It's apparent that that is not her experience.
Is this news to you too? I presumed that you would have known the origins of your companion.
We have shared the road together, but we're relatively new to each other, yes?
Well, I didn't know you before this, but yeah, Erika is known for her obsessions and what she takes interest in, and she took interest in me, and
here you are.
And here I am. We did have a small celebration, so...
Wait a moment.
A celebration.
I was going to ask if you are actually that gullible to believe that. But now it seems that you are doubling down on this?
Do you need me to triple down? Is that going to change how truthful it is? Because that's what happened.
Keep your secrets, my friend.
I
have not earned to hear of your story yet, if that is the problem.
I have heard of clans who do the accounting work before the embrace, and then just leave them.
This is not any of my experience at all.
I believe my accounting might have taken a year. Is that typical for your kind?
I don't know. I haven't met many more besides her, so I kind of thought it might be typical.
I was not released from my accounting for 8 years, and this was short.
Mine was 7 years.
I was not allowed to leave until I had a cause of my own, and I had read every book in his library and could best him.
With the big grin, Alexios goes, maybe I'm just a really fast learner. I don't know.
That, elicits a real, actual laugh. A genuine laugh from Roland.
And you said your name was Saif?
Saif, yeah.
What of your accounting?
I think technically I'm still on it.
Oh.
Well, not exactly.
Is she yours, then?
Mais non. Well, she's my ward. I've been entrusted to her safety. But nothing so...
My sire entrusted me to learn from him. Let's call it I lack the bloodthirst of...
Alexios is not the only one who, as a sire, who has a habit of disappearing, no?
You were saying something, Saif, lacking bloodthirst?
Lust.
I
I don't differentiate between raising a hand in one's own defense and raising a hand in offense.
A line I have no problem drawing. So, we travel as one, no?
I'm also just not real good at it. I'm much better with my voice or my instruments.
Well, the blade is not everyone's weapon. Although it seems it might be yours.
I had a love affair with the blade when I was younger. It decided to cut me. He lifts up a hand that has just kind of casually always been in shadow, so you haven't thought anything of it. But as he lifts the hand up and shows it, you can see that it just is living shadow.
Catrinel's eyes had fallen to the blade that you described wearing at your side. So it's a natural transition to slide over, expecting more rings, perhaps more of that sort of information. And instead, she's picking out the edges of where your shadows meet the night. She's deeply curious about the way that moves, the way that is, the way it connects to your anatomy.
He splays out his shadowed fingers, rotates the hand, which doesn't really... It's hard to see that action, being that it is just living shadow. And then it slowly whispers and slides back under his sleeve. And he pulls his sleeve back to reveal a stump just below his elbow. It was a gift given to me in the Holy Land.
And which land is that to you?
The Holy Land is the Holy Land to everyone,
Maybe not so much.
whether they believe so or not. Suffice to say, this was a gift given to me in Acre.
I still say, shadows or not, you have a left hand, and one's affair with the blade never fully dims in one's heart. I would be honored to spar, even if you have denied me so far.
I have learned that there is much more to war than simply swinging a sword.
Of course, but
Perhaps-
sometimes... After you.
Once we have met this patron, and we have arrived at the destination, maybe we'll talk of sparring then.
Just passing through the central market, the group of you hear the sound of a small crowd ahead. In the center of the market, there is a slave auction in progress. You can see a paunchy man standing atop a platform. He holds a chain linked to a collar attached to a roughly clad, miserable-looking captive who is forced to kneel before him, hands bound behind her back. A line of other captives chained to a large stake driven into the ground nearby. 2 men stand guard over them. Several people stand before the platform. A few call out bids. Torches illuminate the stage, but leave most of the crowd and nearby streets in shadow. Some members of the crowd appear to be little more than brigands, bearded, heavily armed men drawn from the nearby taverns to watch for the entertainment. A few look as though they might be merchants in search of slaves to help in the workplace. One man stands out from the crowd, obviously a nobleman, as evidenced by his fine clothes and jewelry. He seems bored by the current offering. It is clearly agitated. Perhaps he is waiting for something better to be offered.
Saeed sees the slave market, and the walking cadence on the drum stops. And for a minute, her mind sees somewhere else, and her body tenses. And she pulls her hood down further over her face, making sure that her eyes and her cheeks can't be seen. And those looking close enough can see blood tears dripping off of her chin.
As soon as the slave market comes into view, Roland's demeanor evaporates in an instant, and he looks at Saeed and quietly, remember that this is not our city, and we must abide by their hospitality, but mark each of their faces, no? We will mark each face. And he reaches up onto the horse and, puts a hand... He's, double Saeed's size.
Yeah.
And he just puts a hand on her shoulder.
And she looks at him, and her eyes seem extra blue amidst the red of her tears. He knows that she is not shaking in sorrow, but in rage.
Fury is a weapon to be focused.
And there's nothing I can do with it.
Mark their faces. No?
I'm marking them.
Catrinel's beautiful face is marred by displeasure. Her red glossed lip curling up in distaste, and there seems to be something in her that is listening more attentively to that crowd than you might expect. Like she's waiting for someone to call out something in particular. The Eastern Lords, wherever they go, foul slavery follows and flourishes.
So Mithras's nasty little paw gets this far.
Who is this Mithras?
For that matter, who are the Eastern Lords?
The answer to both is Ventru. And the more specific answer is Mithras is the Ventru that's all but subjugated every corner of the Isles, including my home.
The Eastern Lords are spreading their, let us say, foul degeneracy into this corner of the world, no? I believe that is one of the things we are here to speak of.
They would seek to use their religion and their influence to pull together masses to their power, unendingly, so that they might grow and grow and devour everything.
They're like a sickness.
We must abide the rules of hospitality in another city, however. It is very clear Roland is not indicating to mark the faces of the enslaved, but those who buy them. So in the meantime, unless we are called to action, and it's very clear that he wants to be called to action, mark the faces, no?
Zorion, may I please have an intelligence politics roll?
Absolutely. 2 successes.
Zorion, you know that Budapest is ruled by Vento Ricard, who is a Ventru prince. He has a great deal of power here and has been mingling with some organization of Cainites that have recently come into power known as the Tremere.
You said his name was Ricard?
Yes, Rikard.
Do we all here share one mind in this?
No, I do not think we are all on the same mind of this. What do you mean exactly?
It sounds that perhaps those here have no love of slavers.
Slavery is a despicable thing that humans do to one another. But what do you intend to do about it?
I was rather curious to see what Roland had in mind for them.
Roland's initial instinct to respect the prince's domain is what will hold here. Budapest is ruled by Prince Ricard of the Ventru, the Eastern Lords, and he holds considerable power here. His new allies, the Tremere, among them.
I don't know if I need a frenzy.
That means you do. It is only the mentioning of the presence of Tremere, not quite them just hurling hermetic thaumaturgy around. So I'm going to call it difficulty 4.
Okay.
But a roll nonetheless.
That is no successes. I had a 1 and a 10, and it took it away.
It has been announced that Roland's hand is on you, though. Roland. Slavery. Witnessing it has placed your friend at the very edge of what she can handle. But the mention of the Tremere sends her over the edge, and while your hand is rested on her shoulder, you can feel her tense up as the beast stirs into consciousness and rages, lashing out at everyone around her. I'm going to ask for the two of you to roll initiative.
I am going currently on an 18.
All right, so I am going on a 7, and Saiv's intent is basically going no further than to throw herself off the horse towards the source of her anger. Tiny 5-foot Saiv with a bum leg covered in scars.
Roland's job, his sworn oath, is to protect Saiv, to teach her to protect herself. But there's a reason that she was placed with a Bruja who knows the power of anger, the power of passion. So what I'm going to do is just, so she doesn't hurt Violentier, I'm going to just pick her up and walk around a corner to get her out of line of sight.
Okay, give me a Dex plus Brawl. Celerity modifiers do apply here. I'll give you a -1 difficulty, though, because you're already there, and she cannot roll for dodge, so don't roll bad.
Out of curiosity, what is the source of her anger that she's lunging towards?
So, while it was Zorion who made mention of the Tremere, it is to the slavers that her fangs are bared towards, and she begins to gnash at as she races to bring harm to those who harm.
That is 4 successes.
With 4 successes, she is restrained. Your horse seems unfazed by the presence of a frenzied vampire.
I will lift her and just walk around the corner. And I am, because celerity in Dark Ages is actually different than it is in V20, I walk a little swifter than a regular person would.
Sounds
not
good.
like I'm not spending for speed to like blur around a corner, but I am just naturally faster than everyone else.
Right,
And I'm
more
going
live,
to
more...
grapple onto her and move her around a corner so that if she is mad at anyone, she may be mad at me.
Saeed, you are carried around the corner and lose sight of the thing that you intended to harm. First, I want you to give me a roll to escape his grapple, which is a strength plus brawl roll between the two of you contested.
I don't have any brawl.
And what's your strength?
It's a 1.
Well, have your die.
It's an 8.
I actually rolled a lot of ones, but I still have 2 successes.
Saeed, as you are held close, this man has been a source of safety and comfort to you for some time now. Why don't you go ahead and give me a self-control check? Your difficulty is 6, as you attempt to regain control of yourself.
As you are doing that, and he is not actually crushing you, but like holding you against his chest, he's just going to be softly saying, "Calm yourself for now. Even if we cannot do violence in this city, that does not mean we have to keep our heads down, no? Calm yourself. This rage does you no good." And he's just gonna like continue to talk comforting, honestly, almost like he talks to like a wild horse.
That's 2 successes.
The blur of red and anger that you'd seen a moment ago subsides. And though you are in a dangerous place, you find yourself feeling safe.
There's a sort of depression that comes after Saeed comes out of a frenzy. Her beast fears violence, but when she's in frenzy, that's the closest she can get to letting that anger, that righteous earned anger that she has a right to. That's the closest she can get to feeling it without feeling wrong for it. And she can only ever feel the tail end of it as she comes out of frenzy. Then she has to remember that she's here and she did this thing and she lost control. And Roland's there and she kind of takes a breath and lets it out and relaxes against him, resting the top of her head against his chest and just kind of slumping.
The grasping squeeze of the iron potence in his arms relaxes into like a firm hug, and then there's like a thump thump pat pat on her back.
Ow.
You are made of tougher stuff, no? Wipe your tears. I wear red for a reason.
She takes the coat that he wears and uses it to dry her eyes.
Let us go apologize to our new companions for this. And he gives like a little smirk. Unseemly behavior. And then let us go speak to the merchants, no? And he looks supremely confident when he says those things. And then once she has dried her tears, goes to shepherd her out of the alley that he carried her into.
She nods and checks the belt around her waist to make sure that her bowron didn't come off. Seeing it in place, she gives a nod. Thank you.
He leads her back out to the rest of the group. Just a moment or two later.
It's slow going. Saeed has a noticeable limp. It's on her left leg. It's unclear with all she wears exactly what the nature of it is, but she does hobble a bit.
As she walks back up to the group, seeing her limp, you can immediately see Zorion's gaze softens at you. And if he had any words prepared for you in your outburst, they are gone. And by the time you get back, he's just smiling at you.
I apologize. I usually have better control.
Do not apologize for your passions. I just wish to give some words of wisdom. My sire once told me to make sure that heaven and earth are on your side. Heaven is certainly on your side when it comes to freeing those caught by slavery. But we must also make sure that earth is on our side. And freeing them in this instant, or upsetting the domain of Prince Ricard, may blow back on us in ways that we cannot control or help these people.
Slavery is inherently a disruption to the natural order.
I do not disagree with you. But in order for us to solve this, we must learn how to help ourselves and the slaves.
We are strong, here to help the weak. But I think we do, in fact, first need to secure our patronage from Prince Radu of Beastry. And, to be fair, perhaps such outbursts are to be expected under a Bruja's accounting. And she smiles as she says it, and it seems lighthearted.
She has a great deal of fury, righteous as it is, packed into such a small frame, no? And with that, Roland actually grabs the reins of this terrifying warhorse and just starts walking over to the crowd.
Alexios has been mostly observing his companions' reactions to the slavers. Just off to the side and looking over the slavers themselves, and just kind of shakes his head a bit, says, unfortunate souls. But he seems to be more looking at the slaver than the slaves.
As the group begins to approach, the first slave has been sold and dragged off the platform by her new master. The auctioneer's assistants hand up another woman. Though disheveled and dirty, she is obviously of much better quality than the first girl. Even though her hair is snarled, it falls in blonde, silvery, almost white waves down her back. Her eyes are pale blue and almost haunting. Her torn dress is well made, and was once of fine materials. As he lifts her to the top of the platform, the auctioneer calls out, "What am I bid for this woman? Virgin and untouched, obedient," and he smiles, "bettable." As he turns to survey the crowd, the woman snakes out her foot and trips him. She leaps off the platform on the side towards the group of you. To the laughter of the crowd, the auctioneer lands heavily. The woman streaks out towards an alley, frantically moving her arms behind her as she attempts to free herself from her bonds. Roland and those who are accompanying you, she sort of passes you on the left, creating a bit of a fork in the road. The auctioneer ahead, who is toppled and slowly rising from the ground, and the woman who vanishes off down an alley.
Saif, would you like to follow? And Catrinel is indicating that she wants to run after the woman.
Saif gives a nod and takes her stick from the horse's side. It does not enable her to move fast by any means, but with less effort.
I'm going to go around the table. Saif, you are headed towards the runaway.
Yes.
Alexios.
The auctioneer is knocked down. There's still a bunch of people gathered around there, right?
Yes.
Okay.
They're drunk and laughing their asses off at this guy who just got sent to the floor by a much, much smaller woman by comparison to him.
I will definitely follow them after the woman then.
Catrinel.
Catrinel is absolutely heading towards the woman, and she looks delighted for the opportunity.
Roland.
When Saif runs, Roland's initial reaction is to go after, but seeing the two new companions, there's sort of like a hesitation of let's see what Saif does. And Roland looks over at Zorion sort of to catch his reaction.
Zorion smiles, kind of looking after the rest of them running off, kind of nods at you and says, "No one will pursue you," and kind of brings his entourage up, blocking anyone chasing after the group, and starts squaring up and strolling forward to block the slave market with the most regal, straight-backed expression of just complete arrogant dickhead.
Roland gets this grin on his face when Zorion starts walking forward and goes, "It's funny, I was thinking the exact same." And starts walking forward with a hand on the bridle of this giant fucking warhorse and starts sort of walking forward, rigid-backed right alongside him to block any sort of pursuit.
group of you head down the alley. It is mostly shadow, soot, mud, and the stench of animal urine. Or at least what is hopefully animal urine. And there, you find having twisted their ankle and fallen into the muck and crawled their way into a shadow to be hidden and hopefully avoid the notice of those who keep her in binds, is this woman. Her hair is wet and matted. She is covered in filth. But there is no doubt in your minds that she is remarkably beautiful. She looks up. As the three of you approach, eyes bloodshot as tears stream down her cheeks. She gives the group of you a hardened look, and with a fierce tone, in Romanian, she says, "I will not go back. You may as well kill me now, but I will not go back."
Saif puts her hands up in clearly a non-threatening gesture. And she will crouch low and make a motion like she is offering to help the woman out of her binds and offer to help with her ankle.
Alexios is mostly letting the ladies take the lead. He's looking out and around the area to make sure nobody else is coming or from a different direction. And she's in chains, right?
Yes, she is. Very simple chains that are wrapped behind her wrists.
He's going to wait until Saif here sees if she's able to do it without revealing too much about himself, but mostly just keeping an eye to make sure nobody else comes up upon them.
Okay.
Alexios did not narrate that he was coming with, right?
No, he was just following behind.
How sneaky, because sometimes I'm getting the sense that he's a bit of a shadow.
I mean, he's shadowing you for sure, but he's not distinctly hiding from his presence.
Yeah, it sounds like he's being more unobtrusive than hiding.
Yeah.
Got it. Catrinel notes your presence with a glance over her shoulder, dips her head as you take that lookout position.
I've been there. Do you want me to help you get the bindings off?
You won't get far without help.
Roll me a charisma plus empathy.
Would my spec of motive sense come into play here?
No.
Okay. 3 successes.
Reality sets in, as that is said, and she does manage to calm herself and seems to, perhaps not verbally, but physically consents to the group of you intervening. And she sort of, while sitting down and unable to nurse her ankle with her hand, she kind of turns just enough to the side that you can actually see the cheap, rusted chain that is being used to bind her wrists.
Saif will hobble closer. She'll use her staff to help. And as she gets there, she kind of holds it in the crook of her elbow as she's examining the chains. Is there room in the chains to be able to maneuver her hands out without tampering with the lock at all?
That would require the use of the journeyman.
Ooh, that's a new ability for Dark Ages, right?
Yes.
If Saif is seemingly struggling and looking over, Alexios will approach. Do you want some help?
I don't want to hurt her more, getting her free than those that put her in these.
She does give a nervous nod and is kind of cooperating. She's cornered. She doesn't really feel like she has a ton of options. And if it just so happens that the group of you are offering to help her, she sees no reason at this point to not take the risk.
Alexios will move in and kind of move Saif a little bit.
Yeah, Saif will clear out of the way.
Take a couple tools out of his pouches. Examine the lock and attempt to pick it.
Go ahead and give me a roll. Your difficulty is 5. This is not high quality stuff.
Dexterity legerdemain.
Yes, sir.
Graceful count.
No.
Now I only have 5 successes
Oh, poor you.
instead of 8.
With 5 successes. You almost do it a little too well. as the people who are with you notice that you just slip the chains right off her over the course of less than a second. The rusted chain slops down onto the mud.
He looks at them, appreciating where they've landed.
Saev is not schooled enough in her emotions to hide that there's relief that it was that easy to get her out of these.
And I will move out of the way so Catrinel can assist further. My job is done.
Catrinel is affecting an impressed expression, but it's sort of the intentional widening of the eyes of, oh, look what you can do, as she goes to switch into position, and she kneels down, gentle hands going to touch this girl's ankle. But her intentions are to kind of hide what she's doing. I'd like to do it sneaky if I can, to use my powers of vicissitude to reconstruct what might be pulled.
So I would allow you to help her in terms of wound penalties, etc., but very specifically, vicissitude does not heal damage.
Then should I focus then on doing a medicine roll?
If you have medicine, absolutely.
Then I'll do instead that and try to use the knowledge that my vicissitude skills have given me.
Okay, go ahead and give me an intelligence medicine roll.
It's not nearly as good a roll for me, so I am going to spend a willpower.
Okay.
Am I able to help her with this roll?
Yes, absolutely. If you'd like, go ahead and give me a medicine roll, and every success you get, I will add as an additional die for Catrinel. Give me intelligence medicine.
2 successes on my end.
Roll 2 more dice, and you're at difficulty 6.
Saev will reach into a little pouch she carries around her waist and pull out some bandages that have been soaked in something that smells herbal, but it's very hard to place exactly what the herbs concoctions might be. And she will kind of offer them to you. These tend to help relax tense joints. They'll help things move a bit more easily.
You're well prepared.
Have to be.
So I do still have 1 success, despite there being a whole bunch of nothing and a 1 looking at me.
With a success, you can actually determine she's got a pretty minor sprain, and actually examining her for the conditions she's been living in, she's actually in pretty surprisingly good health, that sprain aside. With a sort of proud tone, considering her circumstance, she says, "My name is Sharazina.
Pleased to meet you.
My life wasn't always this way.
It rarely is. Do you have a way out?
I would need more help, but in time, I can repay you. My brother, he is a powerful man. And to know that you aided me, he would reward you. Of that I am certain."
And who would this brother be?
He is a man who lives in a keep. Powerful. Rules over the land in secret. Perhaps a messenger can be sent to him, and reward can be given to you that way.
Sharazina, we didn't do this for the reward.
What I mean to say is that I need passage out of Budapest, and until I can arrange that, I ask that perhaps I can stay with you until I have a means of escaping these men with chains.
Lex, I would like to aura percept her.
Sure.
Then I am going to spend a willpower. To be transparent, I am looking for specifically her creature type, so would my empathy spec of motivations.
Sure.
Okay. 3 successes.
With 3 successes, you notice that her aura is ever so slightly more pale than that of a mere mortal. Not quite the muted, cold aura of a vampire, but somewhere in between.
Do you happen to know the city well?
I have not been in Budapest long.
Then I suppose if you walk with us, You'll have to help us find our way, as blind as we are.
Very well, milady. I will do whatever it is that the group of you require of me. And thank you for your help.
What do you require every day? Anything?
No?
All right.
Catrinel looks over to the two of you, clearly having made her choice and checking, you know. Are we still all in this together, is the sort of expression that she's making.
Saeed does not look in any way upset by this decision.
There's many places we could take her. Do you want me to go back and tell the others where we're going? We can meet in the market square like we originally intended.
An excellent idea. I thank you for it.
I will see you there. And he will move back down the alleyway and back towards where Zorion and Roland are.
Zorion and Roland. The two of you stay behind, while the rest of your compatriots move to see to the runaway slave. Very quickly, some of the rabble that is gathered looks your way, but does not actually seem intent on chasing the woman. They're having a good time. Most of them are drunk. A lot of them aren't even here to purchase slaves. They just like the spectacle of seeing humans so horrifically abused. The man who attempted to sell the woman rises to his feet finally, nearly wobbling and toppling all over again as he moves his corpulent body in ways that he is unaccustomed to. He glares your way, but does not seem terribly interested in challenging your authority in this moment. And as it seems that the two of you are in for a bit of a quiet stay, blocking off the passage into the alley, you find yourselves approached by the one noble that you had seen in the crowd earlier, who was watching the slaves and had been, up until this point, disappointed by the quality of humans who were being trafficked. The man is very well dressed, a long cape, high-quality fabric tunic, gloves over his hands, kind of a short bob, and dark hair. He approaches the group of you, and he offers a wide smile and a dramatic bow. It would seem that your entourage has intervened, making the night most interesting. I am Roland. A very good pleasure to meet the two of you.
Zorion lets out a bark of a laugh. Roland as well. This city is swimming in Rolands.
It is a strong name.
Roland was going to make a remark, and then when he complimented the name Roland, he just decides not to, and gives like a little shrug at the much smaller little Roland.
I am a person of influence within the domain of Budapest,
Roland cocks an eyebrow when he uses the word domain.
and noted your presence in this fair city, and think that perhaps we could benefit one another.
Think you so?
I do serve as the seneschal of the prince of this very city and have his ear. If you would like, I could make your stay here in Budapest quite comfortable.
Are you of his kin?
I am. He and I hail from the clan of kings.
Roland's half smile slowly spreads across to the other side of his face.
Forgive my manners, my lords. Who might you be?
I am Zorion de Iruña, of the clan La Sombra.
From the Court of Shadows, perhaps?
Indeed.
What beautiful land you hail from, sir.
Perhaps the most beautiful in all of God's creation.
Perhaps indeed. Save for, of course, the Holy Lands.
And which ones are those?
I am a man who has visited Erika on more than one occasion.
Have you?
Yes.
Acre is not as beautiful as it once was in recent years.
But that is the beauty of God's creation. What once was can be again. Would you not agree?
Tell me, Roland, What business did you have in Acre?
I was a vassal of a man who was knight at the time and now counts himself amongst the Arpads, a powerful family, the Eastern Lords, in fact. These nights, I spend my time working alongside Elder Bulsku, another prominent figure of the Venture clan. Bulsku has a particular appetite, one might say, and that sad little girl who had gone fleeing past you may be of interest to him for a time, and I was thinking that since it is likely your men, your vassals, who are procuring this slave, a trade could perhaps be arranged where I would aid you and help keep your presence here in Budapest a smooth, enjoyable experience, perhaps even attaining you a meeting with Prince Ricard, or some other favor that can be negotiated.
I'm sorry. I think you have me mistaken. I'm not sure what you are talking about at all. A runaway girl? A slave? What is this business?
Perhaps it is of no interest to you at all in this moment, but more the reason for you to, what is it, Yulasamba, to capitalize on the circumstance.
How very mercenary of you, patrician.
I am in the business of hiring mercenaries. He looks you up and down. And who might you be?
Also graced with the name Roland. I am, and he affects quite a courtly bow. There is mockery to it that he can't quite keep off of his face. Roland de Ronceveaux.
Most like a knight.
Recently arrived from the courts of love themselves.
I've heard your stories.
I assume you have. I apologize that I have not heard yours.
That's all right. Where you come from, I suppose. The countryside, I imagine.
Paris.
You may not have heard of it.
Have you heard of it?
You're from Paris? He laughs.
As much as you are from here, no?
Well, I'm interested in the slave. If you do not have the slave, I suppose I'll carry right on towards it. Collect my prize and be on my way.
Lex,
Yo.
I would like to enact awe, targeting our friend.
Okay. What's your generation?
As the primary. I am 7th generation.
Okay. He is not immune to you.
Awe works a little bit differently in Dark Ages, where you get to
Flavor.
actually flavor your first impressions. And how many people and how long it lasts depends on how many successes you get. So, might I roll that?
Absolutely.
I will spend a willpower for this. That will be 3 total successes, which will affect a bunch of, not the entire crowd, but a bunch of people around. But specifically including Roland here. And the descriptor that I would like his first impression, his lingering first impression to be of me, is one of extreme danger.
He does not show it, save for the most subtle step back away from you. Just enough for you to know that the exertion of your discipline found purchase.
Have you not business elsewhere, Seneschal? You must be a very busy man.
Which way do you gesture?
Away from the alley and
Indicating you're not welcome to pass
hey
here.
man, if you would like to pass me right now, you are welcome to try, or you may go about your business elsewhere.
His lips thin at that.
Someone such as yourself must be so busy as the Seneschal of a city as grand as Pest. You must have so much to do. I wouldn't want to take more of your time with these trivialities, no? I put one of my hands on Violentu's flank, just so he, gives that little horse shiver of flexing every muscle in his fucking body at once.
The horse kind of snorts and glares.
Indeed. What exact business does the Seneschal have in this of all places? He looks quizzically over at the slave market.
Business on behalf of the Elder Bulsku. But
Acquiring mortal slaves.
pets, as he would define it.
So you are a pet wrangler.
Such a magnificent city, and yet its Seneschal
Wrangles Pets.
Chases pets through urine-soaked alleys.
He looks fucking hateful at the two of you as you kind of like just exchange a laugh at his expense.
Explicitly turn my body to like be now just conversing with Zorion about this guy who I am ignoring at this point.
Forgive us, Roland. Our clans have not given us such great status as pet wrangler. Our sires simply sent us across the land to conduct business for courts from afar.
A very difficult position to be in, of course. You must forgive those of us who are more world
If
and
there
world-weary.
if there's anything you would like to know about what is happening in the rest of the world,
The outside
we would be
world
happy
has so much to see.
give you these answers. But until
course.
then, we will stay out of your way and let you chase down your pets
Of course.
for the elders.
I apologize if we are taking up too much of your time, Seneschal.
If it is no concern to either of you, sir, fine sirs, I will be on my way to have a meeting with the prince
Of course.
and
we would
make him aware of your arrival.
Excellent. We, of
Excellent.
course, would appreciate and are bound by and thankful for the laws of hospitality here in Budapest.
Were he not a blue blood, his face would be red, and with a huff, a dejected, angry, childish huff, he turns and storms away.
When he is just far enough away that to turn around and respond would be unseemly, Roland will give another bow. We thank you for your welcome to the grand city of Pest, Seneschal.
He starts to turn and then keeps going.
At that moment, Zorion will spend a point of blood to flicker a large nightly shadow just over the back of poor Roland, as if my Roland was right behind him.
He flinches, stumbles, and kind of catches himself when he realizes that no one is within arm's reach like he just thought for some reason, and takes off. At a brisk, embarrassingly brisk walking pace.
As soon as he's out of earshot, Roland turns to Zorion with a grin and sticks a hand out. I apologize, I did not say this earlier, but I think this is going to be an most entertaining time in this city, no? And he sticks out his right hand, not uncomfortably.
Zorion kind of looks down at that, looks up at him, smiles, and thrusts forth his stump. So it's just touching the inside of your forearm and lets you clasp.
Roland will clasp your elbow.
Yeah.
And give an affirming handshake. Two warriors meeting and having a good time.
Path of Night, War of Ages is an actual play Vampire the Masquerade Dark Ages podcast set in the world of darkness. Alexios is played by Tim Davis. Catrinel is played by Rebecca Steigelfest. Roland Ronceveaux is played by Rob Muirhead. Sadhbh is played by Erika Webb. Zorion de Iruña is played by Garrett Gabbey. Your storyteller is Lex Lopez. The music used in this episode was Don't Look Back by DaniHaDani and Maya Belsitzman. Path of Night uses the 20th anniversary edition of Vampire the Masquerade Dark Ages with a few limited house rules. Vampire the Masquerade and the World of Darkness are owned by White Wolf and Paradox Interactive. Be sure to subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever you find your podcast. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/@pathofnight. You can help support the show at ko-fi.com/pathofnight. Look for us on social media at Path of Night Podcast, or email us at pathofnightpodcast@gmail.com. See you next time, Cainites.
We'll call it right there. All right, guys.
Garrett, I'm just going to throw out there, you used the phrase my Roland.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
Well met.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. Everyone's going to get 6 XP. Surprise, surprise.
Surprise! It starts.
Yeah.
Everyone spend it wisely. Except you, Garrett.
I hope you guys had a good time.
I'm
I
actually
thought
going to
you
save it
guys
because I need
were
to-
absolutely on fire for this first recording.